Welcome to the Business of Beauty, where we help beauty entrepreneurs in building their business and reaching their dreams. This is your host, David Lee. Our guest today offers transformational skincare services in Charlotte, North Carolina, and virtually. Also, she runs an award-winning cannabis cultivator where they have developed a line of sheet masks that can be used for both in-home treatment and as an add-on for the professional in-spa treatment. She's proud of making world-class skincare accessible for everyone. She has already developed 2 skincare lines that all people can afford. Her superpower is to never compromise on quality and is focused on bringing professionalism to her industry through education. She's constantly researching and studying to ensure that she stays on the cutting edge of what is effective and safe for her clients. She uses her research and knowledge to update her protocols regularly and to educate her clientele. In fact, as a member of dozens of esthetician boards online, she'd say her clients are as savvy as many licensed professionals out there. Just want to welcome to the show, Nichelle Mosley at Queen City Beauty Group and Wellness. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm glad to have you. I'm really excited to kind of learn more about what you're currently doing, some exciting things that you're currently doing, and kind of jump in a time machine and go back and kind of see how you got to this point and where you plan on going in the future.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to be here. I'm excited to share with your Beautypreneurs because this has just been a passion and a calling for me.
Yeah. So let's get started with, so what are you doing today? Like, what are you doing in your business? I guess there's 2 different sides of your business, right?
Right.
So yeah, let us know a little bit more about what you're currently doing.
So right now, I currently work in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I also have an online platform where I am able to do consultative work. I work with just regular people every day who are wanting to change their skin and have transformations. People who just really want to have a real change. And what I do is actually help them with making sure that they're tapping into the intention as to what they're doing. So I really try to take a conscious wellness approach to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is there a particular target audience, a target market that you cater to?
I would say more the conscious wellness. So someone who is looking for more of like safe beauty, clean beauty, holistic aesthetics, that sort of clientele, someone who has a little bit more background in integrative aesthetics.
Okay. And do you find yourself, is there typically mostly males or females or different demographics, geographic areas, any of that?
I would say that, I pretty much run into mostly females that come to my clinic. I run into a lot of people who are wanting to address acne. So for that reason, it's, I would say females who, are more interested.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, so now is North Carolina still in lockdown?
We are currently still on lockdown. So
Yeah.
we are able to go back to, with the non-essential businesses here in about a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And so that's why, we're sticking with more of the consultative stuff that we're doing online. But once we're back in our clinic, we'll be able to offer our services, facials, chemical peels, body contouring, all of the wellness treatments that we offer.
Nice. And now, before the lockdown, did you have this virtual and set in place, like this program in place, or was it more of like, oh man, business is locked down, we gotta have something, right?
Right. So this was definitely a pivot for my business. I'll be completely honest. I was not ready or prepared for this in any way.
A lot of people are not.
Yes. So I really just had to buckle down, and it took me about 2 days to find a system that would help me to just provide, those virtual consultations,
Yeah.
and even provide, I'm offering journals and meditation for my clients, because at this time it's just such a tumultuous time that we need more than just, aesthetics.
Yeah.
I didn't really feel like it was enough. So
Yeah.
I had to really pivot and find something that was more valuable, in my opinion. Yeah.
Got it. Now,
So,
so I guess so you said it only took you 2 days to come up with a plan, or 2 days to fully implement everything?
well, to be honest with you, it was something that I really wanted to incorporate.
Yeah.
So, I just was kind of procrastinating. So, I mean,
Yeah. There's one way to light a fire under you, right?
say that again. I mean, this was just something that I had to make sure that I stayed afloat, and,
Yeah.
try to make sure that I was able to stay in contact with my clients. I
Yeah.
wanted to maintain, our relationship. So I had to, research and look for something, as far as like a system that would really support that. And
Yeah.
and it took me 2 days to find it. And once I was able to find that, I was able to then implement what I needed to stay in contact with my clients. But yeah,
Okay.
that was a while.
Now, so this is a new program, and you just launched it a few days, like 2 days after, right? You put together.
Right.
Now,
Yes.
then how did you reach out to your clients? Did you call them one at a time? Did you send out an email blast? What did that look like?
So, I tried to stay in contact with them because I had already appointments that were on the schedule. So having to go ahead and cancel those appointments, letting them know that I was still going to be in contact with them, on that first basis. And then also letting them know to be looking out for a newsletter, because, that was also a pivot that I needed to make sure that I was staying up on in my business, was maintaining my contacts via email, because people are just receiving so much information now that they're needing to receive it like on their time. So, kind of trying to make those phone calls, you just don't really get a lot of people on the phone. So, in order for you to still be able to maintain that, I just wanted to make sure that, they knew to be on the lookout for newsletters and email blasts, and just things that would maintain their wellness while they were going through what they're going.
Okay. Wow. So during this time, after the 2 days coming up with the plan, you implement an email marketing campaign, essentially, right? Program. You added all the clients in there, and you started sending out email blasts, and also letting your clients know that we're scheduled to say, hey, I offer virtually. Now, how was the reception of that? Were the clients like, what are you talking about? What is this virtual thing, right?
Well, I think because I incorporated with a sort of like subscription box to sort of be able to kind of maintain that kind of, like I said, that close relationship, so that they didn't kind of get lost in the, the shuffle of not being able to check in, and just have a base and set an intention. So I think with that being said, that was what was able to kind of help it transition, was introducing it along with, just the product that I was trying to help introduce as well.
Okay. So the box was new too, right? The subscription box?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, okay. So the virtual consultation plus the subscription box, that was your new program, your pivot, right? Yeah. Nice. Now thankfully you had products, right? So it wasn't like in 2 days you're like, oh my God, I need a product in 2 days. You had the product ready to go. Just now you just needed to put in a nice package on a new model, essentially. Now,
exactly.
I mean, I guess overall, if you look back on all this, would you do it again? Was it worth it?
Oh, absolutely. So, like I said, I feel like I did want to be able to do something more than just something that was just beauty related, to be honest. I wanted it to add value and to be intentional. And so when I was putting together these everything. I really just wanted to make sure that it was something that was of value. So I felt that was, yeah.
Nice.
What happened.
Now,
Yeah.
would you keep this going, after the lockdown's over and you're back in business, with your, I guess, your on-site, right, side of the business? Would you continue the subscriptions?
Absolutely.
Would you continue the virtual consultations?
Yes, so that is definitely the plan for the future. We're planning to maintain, our relationships with the clients that we have near and far, because, we've been able to not only service the clients that we currently had, but also, be able to provide a service and, help people that are not here locally. So we'll be able to maintain that, and they'll be able to maintain their subscription. We'll have ongoing facials and ongoing, check-ins where we're able to, they're able to journal, and they're able to do meditative work, and we're able to do sort of like a coaching, over the internet. So yeah.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. So now, so I was looking at your website, and I noticed, like, and you talked about like the skin, the sheet mask, right? But also the sheet mask has cannabis on it, right? Like CBD, right?
Right.
So do you do you have any challenges with the shipment or the delivery of this product, or even processing it online with like a payment processor? Do you have any of those challenges with that product?
In the beginning, there were several challenges that we did experience when it comes to processing and trying to maintain, just that open line of distribution. So one thing that we did have to pivot with that particular part of our business was, just marketing it differently. And being very conscious about how we labeled our products and market our products, and making sure that it doesn't have the words like CBD directly in the very top line of the
I didn't know that. Interesting.
Yeah, so those little small, those little small things we were able to then incorporate. And it helped us to, still be able to get that out to market and scale it. And then, our clients are able to get the benefits of CBD, because as we all know, it's anti-inflammatory. So it helps with acne, it helps with anti-aging. So all of those things, we wanted to be able to help remotely as well.
Yeah. So you're saying one of the tweaks is can you put CBD on the package? You just can't put it on the very top. Is that what you're saying?
Right. No, so when you're selling your product and you sell it, through Square or Stripe, however you are selling that, in the very top line of it, you just wouldn't name it particularly like a CBD mask. That's, like a dead giveaway. But I mean, it obviously is in the ingredients. It's within the ingredients, and, your clients are then able to see what the benefits are within the ingredient deck, and then, it's still being able to be within the guidelines of their site.
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah. Well, that's good to know, because I've heard a lot of like horror stories, essentially, like, oh my God, we cannot process this product because we market it as CBD, and even the credit card processor wouldn't accept it. So we have to go with a specialized credit card processor just to be able to accept those types of payment.
Right. Yeah, new legislation is happening, when it comes to that, because, you just have to make sure that it has zero THC in it. And if you're able to provide that certification and, like you have everything that backs it up for you, then you have a track record and a report, and that's something that's becoming a part of that market. So yeah, it really does.
Yeah. It's like, legislation, like government, they're constantly changing these policies. So it's been pretty difficult, but it's exciting at the same time, especially if you're in this area. Okay. Great. Yeah. So now let's step back, let's go into the time machine and go back to the beginning. All right. So
Okay.
what got you into, this business, starting this business?
So I originally wanted to get into aesthetics. I started back in 2015, and I had already originally just started doing medical, in sort of a medical environment.
Okay.
So working with plastic surgeons, working in like med spas, doing more treatments that I would say were more invasive.
Mm.
And it just kind of gave me an insight as to how I really wanted to run my particular business. Um, but even going back past that, so I have to go back to like the very beginning as to what, drew me to aesthetics in the first place.
Yeah.
So I really suffered from such horrible acne. Like
Uh,
my acne was just terrible.
okay.
And I had, just person after person who just told me that they couldn't help me.
Yeah.
And they told me that, my skin was just very unpredictable,
Yeah.
and it wasn't something that, they could, experiment with, or that they felt comfortable treating.
Mhm.
And so, I basically had to, really kind of learn on my own.
Mm.
And, it was a lot of trial and error. And that's why I said at the beginning, that I felt like it was kind of always my calling,
Mhm.
because having the chance to go through, wanting something to change, and then, not really having the opportunity to have it change, going to professionals, you just kind of feel like you're stuck.
Mm. Yeah.
And so, having that experience really kind of propelled me to want to be a yes for people who had the same sort of experience as me. I wanted to be their yes, so they didn't have to be in a position where, they didn't have someone who could help them.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
that's the reason why I kind of specialize in several different areas when it comes to aesthetics.
Nice.
And yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of drew me to the field. What drew me to, starting my business was just finding out that I really wanted to work holistically and take more of an intentional approach to, aesthetics.
Okay. So that was in
Yeah.
2015 that you started the business, or you started esthetician? Uh,
That's when I was an esthetician. 2015 is when I was an esthetician. 2017 is when I started my business.
Nice. So, okay. So 2 years later, right?
Mhm.
You decided to start your own business. Now, at that time, back in 2017, did you start off with your service side first, or did you have products first?
Actually, I started off with the invention of my Queen's Cough. So it's
Mm.
like a daily gentle exfoliator. And that was the very first product that I ever came out with.
Nice.
And from there, I just wanted to really start to formulate products. I kind of got the bug, of really wanting to kind of, be a part of the formulation,
Mm.
and really help with that sort of change, and being a part of, that botanical transformation when it
Yeah.
comes to, what you can do with ingredients.
Yeah.
So I was just really interested in all of that stuff. So yeah, that's how it first started.
So that was in 2017. Did you have the product in 2017, or did it take some time um, for that to develop that product?
Oh gosh, it took me about 3 jobs, three
Three
jobs
jobs.
in
Dang.
6 months. And yeah, it was really very difficult to to do it all, but I was very determined.
Yeah.
And it was something that I would say that, I lost a lot of sleep,
Hmm.
and I used a lot of Trello boards, and
Yeah. Keep track of everything, right? Yeah.
right. There was just so much involved, and I'm not a person who's very organized. So that part of that, my husband definitely was a huge help. I
What
had
was
to
the
lean
huge
on
help?
my husband.
Oh, your husband.
My
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, my,
Yes.
my
Yep. Okay. Uh,
yeah. So he was definitely a big help in that time.
Yeah, yeah, that's crucial. I hear that a lot, like having your significant other be there to support you, not just say, "Hey, what are you doing? Why don't you go get a job, right? Go get a 9 to 5," right?
Right.
When they're very supportive, you're able to take on more risks. You're able to kind of focus on building your business. Now, so it's exfoliator, right?
Yes.
that you created. Can you tell us a little bit more on that journey of, why did you create it, and how did you create it? What were some of the hurdles creating that product?
So there were so many hurdles with trying to find out, exactly what type of fiber I wanted to use,
Mm,
making sure that it was a clean beauty product, so something that wouldn't be ingestible, because there's lots of products that are on the market now that can be hormone disruptors, and it can actually be, ingested into the bloodstream. So you just, have to really be careful when it
mhm.
comes to the products that you're using on a regular daily basis.
Okay.
So I really had to do a lot of trial and error, a lot of, contacting and overseeing, manufacturing of the product.
Yeah.
And I would say that that probably was the biggest hurdle, because,
Mm.
it was actually done overseas. So it was done in Canada. And I
Okay.
ran into so many logistical problems when it came to the shipping, and it got held up in customs.
Ooh.
And,
Yeah.
there's so
Yeah, these are
many
things that you
issues.
don't think about. You would just think, hey, send us some samples, right, of the fabric, and let me test it out, right? Uh,
Absolutely.
then there's all
You
these
think
other nuances.
you think you just want to pick the colors, and you want to come up with a really catchy name, and
Yeah.
your idea of wanting to utilize that particular product was to help with the environment, and
Yeah.
to make sure that you're not using makeup wipes.
Yeah.
My husband, he is one to use a lot of wipes, and he has very fair skin. So, that was one of the reasons behind utilizing the product and wanting to make it,
Yeah.
was to make sure that, rosacea was a factor,
Mm.
and to also make sure that you could, remove your makeup, and, just also make it just kind of like an umbrella to, cover a lot of different, ailments for
Yeah.
people to take care of.
Okay. Now, when you were looking for a manufacturer, I mean, you found one in Canada. What was that process of finding one? Did you just go on Google and like, hey, where can I find a manufacturer for this fabric? Or was it word of mouth, recommendations? Like, how did you go about finding a manufacturer?
So, like I mentioned before, I am a moderator on several forums for estheticians.
Okay.
So, on there, we talk about products that we are formulating. We talk about products that are in sort of like process of being invented. And from there, I was able to gain, several people who kind of had pictures and ideas about, how I should sort of put together my prototype. So I really did have, some, like, a panel of, I would say, help, and we
Okay.
all do this for each other. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's something that, I find that it's very valuable,
Yeah.
because you need that chance to be able to bounce those ideas off of people and peers that are, like-minded, just like you.
Yeah, yeah, and I hope the viewers that are listening or watching, I hope a light bulb went off. If you're stuck at any point in your business, process, and you're thinking about, hey, you know what? Where can I find a good, manufacturer for this? Or will this idea work? Right? Go join the boards, right? Go join groups and bounce ideas off of each other, right? Um,
Absolutely.
Now, what's your position about, like, oh my God, if I give away my idea, they're gonna steal it and I'm not gonna be able to do it. Do you worry about that at all?
No, I really don't have a scarcity mentality. That's just never been how I've approached aesthetics, because I feel like whatever is meant for someone is meant for them,
Yeah.
and I I keep saying this over and over, but this is more than just a job for me. It's a calling. So I'll find a way to do what I'm meant to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not worried about that.
Okay, great, great. Yeah, and very similar. And I was just curious, because like I've heard many, not many, but few, few new business owners. They're so afraid that their idea was like the best thing since sliced bread, but the reality is, it's probably been created, or it already exists of some variation somewhere. And ideas are easy, right? Implementation and actually successful implementation, execution is difficult, right? So
Absolutely.
so that's one of the key takeaways. And I love that. Okay, you needed a manufacturer, so you reached out to your peers, right, in your groups, and said, hey, where can I get a good manufacturer? Can what do you think about this? So I love that. So then, how long did it take you from thinking, okay, I need this product, exfoliator, to, all right, I have the finished product now, I can start selling, or maybe to a point where you sold the first one to your customer? How long, what was that time frame?
I would say that probably took a little bit, about a year,
Hmm.
just because, like you just mentioned, the implementation part of it, having the mindset to have the confidence to put it out there and it just
Mhm.
not going to just family members and,
Yeah.
you know, just wanting to,
Family members will always buy your stuff. Okay. Let's be real,
right,
right?
right. They feel obligated.
Yeah,
So
let's support you.
exactly. So, you kind of have like that built-in sort of, cushion and you
Mhm.
don't really have to put yourself out there. So,
Yeah.
when it was something that I felt like I really had to, you know, I had something that was ready to go out and be, out in public. I
Mhm.
just had to kind of shift that mindset and really sort of take on a different sort of coping mechanism when it comes to, the confidence,
Yeah.
so yeah, so that was definitely a part of it. I would say that that full year was how long it took. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Um, eh, would if you could do this all over again, what would you do differently?
I don't think I would do anything different because I mean, up until this point, it's just allowed me to, have the experiences that I've had. And
Mhm.
I really love the career that I've had in aesthetics.
Nice.
I love that I'm able to, create a one-on-one relationship with my clients and
Yeah.
it's long lasting. So, that's where I find my success. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, what I meant was the product itself. Like, would
Oh,
you develop the
sorry.
product any differently? Would you,
Ah,
maybe shrink it down from a year to 6 months? Different ways of finding a better manufacturer. Would you do that any differently?
yes. So definitely I would have taken on a different manufacturer because
Mm.
I did find out within the steps of, completing the process that they weren't able to fulfill everything that I needed to have fulfilled.
Okay.
And ongoing, having ongoing, distribution is something that is really important to maintaining a product and maintaining consistency within your brand.
Okay.
So I would have definitely done that differently.
Okay.
Um, Having that bit of information ahead of time,
Yeah.
knowing whether that person would have been able to fulfill orders,
Yeah.
um, you know, moving forward.
So if you had to put that in a question, like you're like interviewing a manufacturer, right? What would be the interview question you would ask?
You know, how that's a really good question. So I guess what my question would be is, what is your ability to scale my product?
Okay.
How would that work out for you? And this, just let it go from there. Let them tell me how they would be able to scale that because, not having that information up front is something, that I would just not recommend people do.
Okay. Yeah. Typically, do they manufacture like 50 pieces at a time, 100 pieces at a time, or do they manufacture as needed? Like, how does that usually work?
So it really just depends. I guess it can be anywhere from, a minimum order of about 5,000,
Okay.
to something along the lines of, a minimum order I'm sorry, a maximum order of 5,000 to a minimum order of 200.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
so yeah, I would say that's probably the range.
Yeah.
And of course, you save a lot more when you order more.
Yeah.
So get the benefit of that.
Yeah. Now, typically, do they handle the drop shipping for you? So, can they manufacture the 200 pieces or 1,000 pieces and leave it at their warehouse and say, every time a customer orders, can you ship it? Or do you have to do that work on your end?
Right. So when it's something that is international, you are expected to, take on the cost yourself. So that's another thing, just making sure that you have those funds ahead of time and that you can have that leeway within your business so that if you aren't able to implement it for a full year, you're not going to, really take
Starve?
a hit. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something that you have to take on the risk and also, that financial risk.
Yeah. So speaking of financial risk, so like, just like, when you buy a franchise, like, I think like McDonald's, I think you need $1.5 million to even get started, like consider, right, a McDonald's franchise. But in this case, like from a starting point and knowing that, okay, expect a year to get your finished product and also expect hurdles and road bumps, like how much money would you recommend someone starting off, like have this amount in your savings before you even seriously pursue this?
Realistically, I would say, just really have an emergency fund and really then have something that is like an investable amount. And for me, that was $20,000.
Okay.
That was my amount for me to just feel comfortable.
Yeah. That's smart because, I mean, not saying it's wrong. But there are people that are like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to quit my job today and start. And I'm like, do you have any savings? Nope, no savings, nothing. I'm like, oh, it's kind of risky, but it is possible. But, it's best to have a nest egg, have a backup plan. So 20,000. Okay. Thank you. Now, so after creating your first product, how did it go? How did you market that product? How did you, sell outside of your family and friends?
Well, I definitely hired a marketer.
Okay.
I definitely did not try to take that on myself. I really love to be the technician and the person who's kind of like behind the scenes. I'm more of an introvert and an empath. So I, just kind of relied on someone to help me with making sure that we were able to get that across, to our clientele. And we wanted to make sure that, we focused on it being reusable and recyclable. And like we said, the alternative to makeup wipes. And that's what we were able to do. And to be honest, it's taken off like wildfire. So
nice.
it's great.
Your marketer, it's like saying, okay, I hired, I don't know, a doctor, but there's different types of doctors and different types of lawyers, right? Your marketer, what did he or she do for you? Did they focus on social media? Did they focus on your website? Did they focus on online advertising or radio ads? What did your marketer do for you?
Yes, so they really did all of what you just mentioned. We had to do podcasts, we had to do online radio. We also decided to do, like you mentioned, social media ads, putting together, just a whole like photo shoot. That whole entire thing was just, something that was like a whole big to do.
Like big marketing campaign push. That first push, the moment you hire your marketer, was that like a 30-day push, like just craziness in 30 days or 60 days or 90 days? Like what did that look like?
Right. So there was definitely, what they strategically did for the 60-day mark was more of like the emailing, more social media. And then closer towards the 30 days, that was when we started doing more of the interviewing, more of the radio, more of the ads on social media. Nice. So there was definitely more of a strategic plan, and I left it all up to, the marketer, because I really relied on her expertise.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's smart, and would you recommend that, if you have anyone that has a budget, they're, a lot of new entrepreneurs, they're like, hey, I don't want to spend money on marketing. It seems like that's something I can do myself. Right. What would you say to that entrepreneur?
Well, I really just wouldn't recommend it, to be honest, because what you're specializing in is what you've decided to be an entrepreneur
Mm,
in. And if it's not marketing, then that's not something that you should take on to learn, because then that's taking away the focus of what should be on in your business,
yeah.
whether that's growing your business or helping to hire other employees within your business. Whatever success it is that you're wanting to have within your business, you're basically not doing that
Yeah.
if you're kind of spreading yourself too thin.
Mm, okay. Um, and thank you. Did you look at the budget from a percentage standpoint of like, okay, I have my, let's say $20,000. I'm gonna allocate 20% or 10% of that, or is there a dollar amount? You're like, okay, I'm gonna invest this into marketing and make sure it's a success. Like, what was your thought process in that?
I feel like it's ongoing. You don't ever really stop marketing.
Mhm.
As long as you are in business and you're staying in contact with your clients,
Yeah.
that's really your first line of being able to, have them understand who you are as a brand.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's always ongoing. So to have a set aside budget is something that I've always just known to maintain in my business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, at what point were you looking at this and you're like, wow, I finally made it. The marketing works. Like, during all this time, your product was on your website, right? It was, anyone could have went online, went to your website and hit add to cart and buy it, right?
Mhm, mhm.
So at what point were the sales coming in? Like, wow, the marketing works, and there's like a light at the end of the tunnel. Well, maybe you saw the whole time, but I don't know. Like, can you tell us a little bit more on that? Like, at what point in the marketing phase?
I would say, we tried to make sure that it was very strategic. So we had a pre-launching phase, and then there was the launching phase.
Mhm.
So during that time, we wanted to make sure that it was limited as to what would be available.
Mhm.
And then once we allowed that to be live, that's when people knew to go ahead and make the purchases.
Yeah.
And so there was definitely that strategic time frame where we decided we were going to do a pre-launch where you could order and then receive like a small type of discount,
Nice.
and then go through with a full on launch. And at that time is when you're able to bundle it, and
Yeah.
then get giveaways, prizes, all of those things to be able to incorporate attraction.
Okay. Yeah. So in the beginning, you offer pretty much a little more exclusivity, right? Like, there's only a limit. Or did you cap it at 50, 100?
Right, exactly, at 50. Yeah.
At 50? Okay. Were you able to sell out?
Yes.
Yeah, nice, nice. So you're doing the marketing, getting it really hyped up, right? And boom, you sold out, and then you were able to kind of open up the next phase, right? Once that shipment went through, right?
Right. Right. And then, we had a little bit of success when it came to just a different part of our business where we went to the International Skin Games competition.
Mhm.
And then at that point, we won an award for first place in the competition. And so that kind of gained a little bit of, press for us.
Yeah.
And at the time, people were kind of like, oh, well, who is this Queen City Beauty Group and Wellness, and
Yeah, yeah,
let's kind of look into this queen's cloth that is a part of the brand as well. So
wow,
that's also what helped to propel it,
yeah.
was just kind of being able to partner with other platforms.
Okay. So when you say
Yeah.
partner, you mean like working with other estheticians, or pretty much being part of that, being able to compete in that competition?
Right. So both, actually. So being able to compete in that competition and then offering it to other estheticians for wholesale as well.
Nice, nice. Okay. Now, so
Yeah.
we talked a lot about the exfoliating product, and thank you for sharing the details. Our viewers are, I'm sure they're very appreciative. I'm very appreciative, about sharing this. Uh, Now, at what point did you say, you know what, we need the sheet mask now? Like at what point did you decide, okay, let's add more products to my product line? And also, when did you start the service side of your business? Because right now we've been talking about the product, right?
Right. So the service side started, from the beginning. It really started in 2017.
Okay.
Just having the passion of making sure that people were treating in more of a holistic approach. I was always incorporating that and just making sure that they were also doing treatments at home, because as doing those professional treatments, coming in once a month, you get a great fixer upper, but if you're not doing anything at home, if you're not taking care of and having home care, then you're just doing it all. So yeah, we just saw that as a need from the beginning, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess also it created some consistent income, right, from the service side, and where the product side, that takes, it takes a year to really produce. Now, when did the sheet masks come into play?
So the sheet masks came into play, I would say about 2 years into the business.
Okay, we're like 2019 now, right?
Right, exactly. So in 2019 is when we partnered with another cannabis company. So we are the ingredient side, the skincare side, and they are the grower side. So what we wanted to be able to do was, basically come together as two entities, and we developed that sheet mask to bring our clients and our local patrons, just the best quality. So we wanted to be able to have that farm to face quality, and that's why we came up with masks. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And how has the, like, did you do the same type of marketing, same kind of campaign you did for the first product that you launched?
So I'm so glad that you asked that question, because this was right around the time that we all had to essentially lock down,
Great timing, right?
Exactly. So we had everything planned out to have this launch party. It was going to be great. Two companies coming together. It was going to be, fantastic. And, unfortunately, we have the coronavirus, and that was just something that was unforeseen. And so we had to pivot that, and we started to incorporate those more online, offering, facial kits that you could purchase to have for home care. And like I mentioned before, having the clients where I'm doing the services, I would offer them discounts in memberships. And so in order to maintain my memberships, I wanted to offer value. So I would incorporate my sheet masks for them to utilize at home. So that was another way that we were able to, help to make a little bit of normalcy for our clients at home. And then we took the time to be able to, incorporate those sheet masks and give them to the frontline workers. Nice. So, people who are having to wear PPE for long, extended periods of time. And, cannabis and CBD is analgesic. So it is something that really helps with making sure, if you are having to endure that PPE on a regular basis, that it helps with maintaining your skin barrier. So, we just tried to give back in the ways that we could, and, nice. Do what we could. Yeah.
Yeah. That's nice. How like the reception, like of your product, how has that been?
I would say it's been good, considering the circumstances, and, just basically how we had to pivot with launching it. And, just we have done what we needed to do as far as like getting the marketing behind it, and, putting our newsletters together to sort of, help our clients to understand what is, really the benefit of incorporating CBD, because, a lot of people are confused about it. So
Yeah,
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 it's
they just
really,
probably think of as just like, oh well, it's just cannabis, right? What is the difference, right? So there's a lot of questions and uncertainty and also concern, right? They're gonna think like, oh man, I'm gonna get high from using this, right? Which, right?
exactly. That's exactly what they think.
I'm just guessing, right? But I've assumed people probably ask you, that's like, am I gonna get high getting, using this mask? Like, no.
That's been a part of one of our campaigns to market is, this mask will not leave you high or dry.
Yeah.
And it's a high. So yeah, that's actually been part of our campaign.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So yeah, now the future. So what are your plans now for the rest of 2020 and then the next few years?
I really feel like things have changed in our business, so we're going to take everything as it comes. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to be open and, just ready to do whatever. My clients are certainly like chomping at the bit to get back into our clinic.
Mm-hmm.
So, as soon as we're able to get back, we're definitely going to be able to take them on. But in the meantime, we're just also considering other ways that we can be of help that is more virtual,
Mm-hmm.
because there's things that are just changing now. So yeah,
Yeah,
we're
absolutely. Yeah.
considering all the possibilities.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of beauty businesses. They're like, yeah, we're pivoting, we're changing our model. We're gonna try to service our clients, the best we can. And yes, just like yourself, there's a lot of our clients that want or need our services, but we just can't because we're in lockdown. So, but we're gonna expand a lot more on the online space, and we definitely see this as a huge side of our business, and may actually overtake the service side of our business because the online side is so scalable. Like you're limited on the service side because you have to be there for every client, versus the product side where you can send it internationally, right? You can send the
Absolutely.
yeah.
Right, you do have much more of ability to have, just that passive income. So yeah, there's just much more of an opportunity when you're doing things online and virtual.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I've already taken a lot of your time, and thank you so much for being here, and thank you for sharing all this valuable information, and not just the good side, but all the challenges and the difficulties that you went through, so our viewers understand, like, oh wow, I didn't, we don't build businesses overnight, right? It takes years. Just a product took a year to develop, and a lot of trial and error, and a lot of difficulties, like products getting stuck at the border, right? So like all these challenges to get to where you're at today, and of course, there's a curveball thrown earlier this year, these unexpected things, but most importantly, you're able to get back up and get back on track and pivot and keep growing your business, right? And that is the definition of entrepreneurship. So, thank you so much for being on the show and sharing. Now, how can our viewers reach you?
Please check me out at www.queencitybeautygroup.com, or you can check me out on Instagram at queencitybeautygroup.com as well. And it was so nice to be here, David. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And like always, the information will be down in the show description, show notes, and also in the resource area on our page. So no worries, it's right there. Again, hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next time. Bye. Hey, Beautypreneurs. I'm David. My team and I created a website kit for fellow entrepreneurs looking to grow their business online, whether it's e-commerce or a service-based business. We've got you covered. This will also help us continue our webcasts and provide valuable knowledge to countless beauty entrepreneurs watching. For more details, check out our website kits at beautybiz.info/website kits. If you like the videos that we make, you can support us by giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. Thanks. We'll see you next time.